All right, let's talk about somebody who is balling. My man, Pat McAfee, and his show that ESPN wants on radio. So even though McAfee previously said his show does a disservice to the listening audience, radio, McAfee may be doing radio over there at ESPN. So we know he signed the deal in May, 5 years, $85 million to bring his talents to the worldwide leader. Why do I always bring up money, especially in broadcasting? Because for some weird reason, whether it's the thin ego and just like, oh my God, I don't want everyone to know what I make, broadcasting doesn't really advertise it the same way that they do in the NFL. The NFL, you can read the USA Today, anything. Everybody know how much you make. Oh, on August 13th, he has a bonus for $48,000. But then you get to broadcast, how much he make? How much? I don't know. You only find out half the time when they get released or when they sign it. Everything in the middle, I don't know how much he making. So that's why I bring it up. All right, so this is a great deal that he signed with ESPN. Let me just clearly lay it out for you. He got 120 from FanDuel. That was for him to do everything with that. That includes pay his salary, pay everyone who's on that show salary, staff, everybody, administrators, everyone's salary. Then benefits to keep the lights on with no back-end support. You got to pay for that as well. All of that versus go to ESPN. Pat McAfee, here's $85 million for you. Oh, the rest of them dudes go get their own deals, and they're going to get them under ESPN as well. Here's your deal with benefits. Here's your deal with benefits, and this entire show, this entire program has back-end support because ESPN is a machine. That's why it was a great deal. All right, but y'all didn't scoff at that. Y'all were mad at the deal because of the independence he potentially will lose going to ESPN, which is why we're talking about this story right now. So his talents as being a former radio host may be on display, as he wasn't advertised as hosting a radio show when he signed the deal, but it sounds like that might be the real. They need at ESPN some content at that exact same time. Actually, they needed it more times than that, but that is one of the slots, noon to 3 p.m. So they want more celebrity, they want more talent in that weekday radio lineup. And we know they got a huge one in Pat McAfee. So his show, y'all know this, used to air on CBS Sports Radio and SiriusXM. So it seems like it's a fit to go on ESPN radio. But since he left terrestrial and satellite radio, he's put more effort into the video side of the show. So I'm walking y'all through this. So he signed that deal and talked about the possibility of putting it on ESPN radio. Now, he was open to it, but he seemed hesitant to portray it as a great fit. He said, quote, "We quickly realized we're almost doing a disservice to the people that only listen. We want people to know that we're like an optics show, a video show, because I think a lot of that has to feed into what we're talking about. Now, if ESPN decides and we have a conversation, you want to go on ESPN radio or SiriusXM or anything like that, I think I'd be open to that. I'd be thankful to get back in. But it wasn't a focal point of the conversation because it's not really our first thought, if that makes sense." Oh, it makes a ton of sense. He basically said, look, our show is optimized when you can have the visual experience with it. And that experience visually in priority, not the audio experience. It's a different thing. It's a different animal. I do 2 shows. I do more to it, which is an audio podcast, which is different than doing this. Why? It starts with me, not you. It starts with how I do it. If I were doing a podcast right now, just audio version or radio, guess what I wouldn't be doing? Staring at this, this little camera right here. I wouldn't be doing that. I would just be talking. And when I'm talking, my eyes will wander and then it will go into the story. Then I go into like a deeper state of what's coming out of my mouth versus a shared experience between my eyes and my mouth. You get it? The audio and the video. So that's what he's talking about. Then how you consume it. It's a more intimate consumption when it's just audio only. It's kind of like laser focus, hitting you right here, going right here, staying in that brain. Versus the eye, and you're like, okay, you may even miss some things I'm saying. You may not even catch or feel what I'm saying because you're watching me. Like, what, Wiley, is that something on this shirt? Why he keep doing that with his finger? Why is his finger all crooked? Like those kind of things, etc. So McAfee on ESPN Radio means more distribution, bigger platform for his show. But ESPN Radio, let's be real, they need McAfee more than McAfee needs ESPN Radio. Recent years, the radio has gone down from a respected media brand to a revolving door of hosts and shows. Can't lie there. And the platform was hit hard by recent layoffs. Man, they used to have a lineup. Whoa, they messed that up. So since signing with ESPN, McAfee has incessantly promised fans that his show will not change once it launches on the network this fall. Putting McAfee on ESPN Radio sounds like a good idea, right? In theory, but it either means the show will have to change or listeners will need to accept the disservice of listening to a show that caters to a viewing audience. You get it? Yeah, I know y'all get it because I hear y'all right now. Uh-oh, here we go. Told y'all, here's your first round of ammunition. For all his fans who said he was going to change and all the naysayers said, yeah, he going to join the machine. Of course he's going to change. Y'all about to use this moment in time, I know, against him. But it's a big collective loud, I told you so. This was what happens. All right. But y'all got to understand, he licensed his show out to the 4 letters. And in doing that, there is a gain in there and there is going to be a loss in that. Let's just be real. He doesn't want to do radio first, but that doesn't mean he couldn't do radio and do it well, right? This may not be his best move. This ain't his swim move. But don't say he can't do the rip move as well, right? Like I think McAfee has that level of talent. But y'all forgetting how big radio was. Not now, was. It's still big for some. But I'm talking about ESPN Radio. Mike and Mike, y'all. Colin Coward, y'all. Dan Lebitard. Oh my God, it was sick. Scott Van Pelt, Ryan Russillo. It was insane. And now if McAfee can do his show, even though he says it's a disservice, but when you say that, maybe you're saying that like, I don't want to lend myself to changing that. Now, if you're forced to, because you do have partners / bosses now, maybe you're going to go back into that radio lens and make sure that the show isn't a disservice to everyone out there. But using Mike and Mike as an example, they built that from scratch. Like, hello, we're Mike, and we're doing the show. And then it went kaboom. Well, McAfee is coming in with momentum. You think? He ain't building this from scratch. This thing already baked, and it tastes good, tastes great. And then he gets to start, like a rolling start from the start with that momentum into that platform, into all of those homes, into that level of distribution. So y'all tell me, what y'all think? Is it a good idea to have the show on the radio? Y'all gonna listen to it on the radio? I'm saying the radio. I know we gonna watch it, but y'all gonna listen to it on the radio? Or y'all just like, dog, don't even try that because that's half-assing it. Just stick to the video. All I know is more is more. You know how people always say more is less and then less is more? I'm like, sometimes more is just more too. You know what I mean? Somebody give you more money and then it's just more money. It ain't less. Oh man, don't even get me started about more money, more problems. But the point is sometimes more is more. In this situation, I'm with you, McAfee. Edit over here, and get more people to consume your product.